Are you one of those people who is disillusioned by the diet industry over-promising and under-delivering? Or certainly delivering in the short term, but definitely not actually delivering anything that's sustainable in the long term? Or are you somebody who's health conscious, but overwhelmed at the conflicting health advice that is out there? Or are you just sick and tired of being told what to do relative to your health and your nutrition and would like a different way? Well, if you answered yes to any of the above questions, then the Your Ideal Body program may just be for you. So what is it and why should you believe me? Well, I mean, you don't have to believe me, right? But my name is Loretta Ferrucci. I'm a homeopath. I've been in private practice for 23 years. And lifestyle management has been the backbone of my practice for most of my career. In homeopathy, one of the basic tenets is that we have to remove the obstacles to cure before we consider medicating. And most of our lifestyle issues are essentially obstacles to cure, right? I also happen to have had a weight problem since I was 7, and I've been fatter and thinner my whole life. And I've always been on the quest for thin or for the ideal body, right? And about 10 years ago, I just decided, you know what, screw this. I'm not going on a diet again because they don't work and they're not sustainable, even for somebody who has a high value on health, which I do, and who is very particular about what they eat and who has very fixed ideas on what is healthy and what isn't healthy. They don't work for people like me either. And that set me on a quest to try and find a different way of being and a different way of doing. And that was the birth of the Your Ideal Body program. And so there is no food in this program. There are no dietary restrictions in this program. There's no exercise program in this program. In fact, this is a program about connecting you to yourself. It's about connecting you back to the signals of your body. It's about connecting you to exactly what your physical body needs and wants. Because most of us live from the neck up. Well, I certainly have been. You know, we spend a lot of time in our heads, we spend a lot of time thinking, but we don't actually feel anchored in our bodies, and we don't listen to the signals of our bodies because we don't have the time and we're too busy. And that's just stupid because, you know, this new plan that you're on, it tells you to eat at 8 and it tells you to eat at 12 and it tells you exactly what to eat. And as long as you weigh your food and you measure everything and you don't cheat, you're going to be great, right? Okay, so we have lost our connection to ourselves. And we have lost our connection to our basic physical signals. And those basic physical signals are telling us when we're hungry, what it is we feel like eating, when we've had enough, and things like when we're thirsty, when we're tired, when we need emotional support, when we need to ask for help. But you know, it's difficult for us to do those things if we can't even interpret a basic signal such as hunger. And so Your Ideal Body program is based on the 5 magic moves, or that's what I call them. The 5 magic moves are daily focusing on the consequences of taking action and not taking action. So what's going to happen if you take action towards your health, and what's going to happen if you don't take action towards your health relative to what you have to accomplish today. The second magic move is to eat only when you get a physical hunger signal, not when you think you should be eating, or when you think, oh, it's been 16 hours and I really should be hungry now, or it's lunchtime, or oh, that pizza smells good, I think I must be hungry. No, when your actual physical body via your stomach gives you a signal to say, I'm hungry now, feed me. The third magic move is to eat whatever you want. Because until you can actually start becoming discerning and inspired from within in terms of what it is that you want to eat, you are always going to be restricted by someone else's version of what's best for you. So in the beginning, people say, oh, well, I can't do that one because I'm just going to eat chocolate all day. I promise you, if you respond to your physical hunger signal, 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times, 9 3/4 of the time, if there's such a thing, you are going to want food and not something like candy if you are physically hungry. Usually when we want to eat what we would call junk food, it's because we're trying to feed an emotional need. Okay, but I digress. The 4th magic move is to eat without distraction. So don't eat in front of the TV, don't eat when you're on social media, don't eat while you're driving in your car. When you're eating, focus on eating. And the 5th one is to stop before you're full, or at least when you've had enough, all right? And not to overeat, and not to have that second portion just because it looks good. But you have to be in touch and in tune with yourself in order to respond to these signals. Then in the Your Ideal Body program, we also deal with emotions, because most of us overeat, not because we're physically hungry, but because we're trying to feed an emotional hunger. We're trying to feed heart hunger through our stomachs. Well, heart hunger doesn't get nourished by feeding our stomachs. it gets placated in the short term, and basically what happens is those uncomfortable emotions that are wanting to be soothed get suppressed, and they come out in sabotaging behaviors. Very often, once again, overeating. When people say I'm a stress eater or a comfort eater, to me that's an indicator that you're disconnected from your feelings. You don't actually know how to just sit with the feeling and feel the feeling rather than trying to fix it. So you distract yourself and soothe yourself. And I am a master at this. And so in the Your Ideal Body program, there is also a component and a tool that helps us to deal with how do we feel our emotions more fully. So here's the thing, emotions don't want to be fixed, they just want to be felt. They also don't need a story. So we don't need to go and dig around in your childhood to find out why it is that you think you're not good enough, because you know we've all got that. And that's fine, it's useful to know that. But if you can identify the emotion and you can sit with the emotion, emotions are like waves. They come in, they peak, they break, they roll to the shore, and they recede. But when we suppress them, they're unable to do that. So in Your Ideal Body program, I teach you how to do that more fully. And by doing that, you connect your emotions. When you practice the 5 magic moves, they're magic because they start off with your physical hunger and your physical need for food. But in actual fact, when you can be clear about when you're physically hungry, as I said earlier, you'll know when you're tired. You'll know when you need help. You'll know when you need to rest, because those are all signals, right? When you can eat whatever you want, then you become clear about what you want. You become clear about what you need in your life to nourish yourself more fully. What kind of relationships do you need? What kind of job do you need? What kind of income do you need? What kind of people do you need around you? When you can focus your attention on eating, then you learn how to focus your attention on other things, right? Without being distracted. When you can stop when you've had enough, you learn how to put up your boundaries. You learn how to honor your boundaries. You learn how to actually become clearer about your boundaries in other areas of your life also. So they are magic, those moves, because they start off relative to what you're eating and they spread into your entire life. So if you find that this resonates with you, I'd love for you to check out my Your Ideal Body sales page. You don't have to buy anything, but there's a lot more information on there. And there's more information on this webpage as well. Or you can just drop me a mail and ask me your questions directly.